So, folks, you just watched the wrapping up of the medal ceremonies. The rain really starts to fall here in Vancouver, paying for the sins of 4 days of beautiful sunshine here. We will have a wet final day, lightning overhead, but not keeping the rugby action from occurring here, as our next game up for grabs is the U18 Cup final between the Ontario women and the BC women. Going through our lineups in the front row for Ontario: Susan Garwood, Michaela Albert, and Brittany Whiting. Charlotte Dunn and Dorian Curry are in the second row. Brooke Newsom, Mandy Beneff in the back row, and Ingrid Krausbar is the number 8. Watch her. Jordy DiNardo. Parents Barb and Bill on hand to see this one. Catherine Belanger is the fly half. Kelsey Owen and Shelby Holland in the centers. Caitlin Richard and Maddie Seidel in the wing spots, and Nikki Case is the fullback. Off the bench, Colleen Irwa, Megan Pakulis, Aaron Burke, Bailey Dean, Aaron Geddes, Harley Bean, Madison Bretan, Bailey Vachon, Charity Williams, and Rita Charret. A very strong bench for Ontario. On the BC side, April Martin, Hannah Lauridsen, and Brooklyn Navarrete are in the front row. Adrian Sorry, and then Samantha Jory and Allie White in the second rows as Brian Kelly comes into position here. Jade Elderos and Tiffany Picketts are the rest of the back row there, and Nicolina Boundy is the scrum half. Alex Mueller, the fly half. Sheridan Davis is on one wing. Morgan Terpsma, and then we have Shelby Phil and Mackenzie Fowler in the centers. Leah Theobald is the scrum half. And then we have number 16, Isabel Schleiecker, Kyra Grohl, Lauren Kerr, Lael Ross, Sophia DiGianni, Michaelan Olson, Kate Shevnik, Krissa Perez, Nicole Crowley, and Alexa Martin. Bringing Brian Kelly into the booth, I'll let you take over for a minute and have a little chat with yourself while I try and warm up here, but I'll be back in a moment. Brian Kelly taking over as the under-18 Cup final about to take place.
Conditions have turned ugly here in Vancouver for this finals day of the National Championship Festival. Doug Cross passing over to myself, Brian Kelly. The spirits are still high around the field today, but it is coming down. This is true Vancouver weather really taking place here. Been lots of great rugby action all week, 5 days, and some of these athletes are really starting to feel it. Lots of rugby for these young bodies as we see these teams warming up. Had some great numbers of viewers throughout the entire week. It's been great knowing that people from coast to coast have been able to watch their family and friends and children out on the field here today. Reminder to everyone to join Red Nation, our way of giving back and supporting our national team athletes as they go for gold and for the World Cup Championships. Go to rednationrugby.ca. Check out everything that we have there. We've got great contests, deals, and lots of ticketing information as well. We've got a couple big games coming up. We've got the August 24th Rugby World Cup qualifier, Canada against USA. That one will be at BMO Field. We're looking for another 20,000 fans. If you're in the GTA or in Ontario, I definitely recommend getting to that one. We've got the return of DTH, Van der Merwe, Phil McKenzie, and Cudmore, among other names. They'll be highlighted on that roster, as well as Canada's quite happy to be hosting one more time the 2013 IRB America's Rugby Championship. That one is at the Canadian Rugby Center of Excellence in Langford. So that one's on October 11th, 15th, and 19th. So it's Uruguay, USA, Argentina, and Canada, 3 doubleheader game nights. And then also November 3rd, that's going to be really exciting, is the clash against the New Zealand Maori All Blacks. And that one's going to be a little bit of a chilly affair, but dress warm, dress in red, and come down and support our boys against they face the guys in their haka and everything involved. As we see the players coming onto the field now, that's Ontario. The quite happy to have a channel to run through as the Ontario showing their support. So we have the Cup final here in this women's division. Should be a great game between these two sides. I've played many a game on this field when it's pouring rain, and at the end of the day, you have to realize that whether you score tries from big looping spin passes or grinding it up the gut, either way, the points are on the board. So with these difficult conditions, they almost have to play a different style of game and not use as many flash and flare and just play rugby, hold on to the ball.
Well, we saw in that last game that as the rain increased, the ball got real greasy, and you know, they're adjusting a little bit, but these teams have had such great conditions all week long. It's quick to lose those tactile senses of what you do on a wet day. So BC will get this underway. Ontario taking the ball.
So kickoff coming from BC. Good crowd here for this U18 Women's Cup final.
Everyone's sitting under the roof, though.
Yeah, you won't see it in the broadcast, though. As BC on the front foot, just inside Ontario territory, popped out now. Now Shelby Peel taking it into contact. Now BC going back to number 12. As we have a penalty awarded to BC. So a good chance here to get some field positioning, pardon me.
So this Ontario team under a bit of pressure of a different sense because they have a flight going out around 3 o'clock. They've got to play this game, win this game, and get to the airport an hour before their flight leaves. I mean, you know, most people worry about getting to the airport on time, but not winning a championship before that. So we see a very soaked Jen Smart behind us. I'll tell you what, she gets it all done here at these tournaments. And
events manager for Rugby Canada running out in the rain, getting the job done.
She wanted to see if the lightning was coming or not. She's still alive, so that's a good sign.
I believe that ball was knocked on by BC in the line out. So Ontario with possession as it falls out the back. Play on. We have an advantage to BC now.
Big tackles off the ball there by the scrum half.
So I think we exchange some knock-ons and we'll have a scrum down BC ball.
Number 10, Alex Mueller. Number 11, Sheraton Davis. Number 12, Shelby Pill. Number 13, Mackenzie Fowler. Number 14, Morgan Chertsma.
So everyone trying to, okay, these umbrellas are gonna not help us during our broadcast here.
Number 16, Isabel Scherlinger. Number 17, Kira Grawl. Number 18,
Scrum now just inside the 22.
Number 20, Sophia DiGianni.
Picked up by Boundy. That spun out. Bobbled there by the fly half.
Number 23, Carissa Perez.
To the flanker. Spinning it out.
And number 25, Alexa Martin.
Eudoris taking it in now. That ball just squirts through the leg of Pyle. And now Ontario booting it forward, getting out of harm's way. This is going to be more of the same. A lot of this today, I think. A lot of kicking the ball forward, some knock-ons.
I'll tell you what, they're probably going to be over their weight allowance with these heavy, wet jerseys by the end of the game. They came here weighing 25 pounds. They'll go back weighing 52. Good old Air Canada, famous for nailing you for that 2-pound overage. Of course, you're heading out to Ontario. You're coming out tonight or
tomorrow morning? Heading
morning
out to Oakville to catch up with the national senior men's team, preparing for the first Rugby World Cup qualifier in 6 days from now in Charleston, South Carolina. The guys are in training camp right now, leaving for Charleston on Thursday. Should be a good game down in Charleston. The U.S. are pumped to take us on, and we're equally as excited.
Tickets available, Ticketmaster, for the game on the 24th of August at BMO Field, 4 o'clock kickoff. You can go to events.rugbycanada.ca, and don't forget to join the Red Nation. They want everyone wearing red at that stadium and showing their true national colors, and so lots of opportunities for great gear and head of the line opportunities as well. RedNationRugby.ca.
Ontario with an overlap. Can they use it? Good hand fend by one of the players from Ontario. I believe it was the fullback, Nikki Case. Good run by Ingrid Kransbar, but the ball squirts free.
It's actually Krausbar. I thought that was an N too, but I was
pardon me.
death threats from their family. No, it wasn't that bad. Spoken about her earlier in the weekend. It's Krausbar, and she's quite a player at the back of the scrum there.
So BC will be putting it into the scrum, just shy of their own 22. Got to think some kicking is going to play a part today, but they look like they're going to run it as that ball is just slippery. So we have a knock on.
Yeah, I think you know, they may have to adjust their expectations about throwing that ball around and really just keeping it tight amongst the forwards, at least until you're down the other end of business at the opposition goal line.
Ontario in prime attacking position here. Looks like they've got a two-player overlap on the right side. We'll see if they pick and go right. Yes, they do. Krausbar, but the ball is lost. And now to the number 14, Morgan Terpsma. She gets tackled about 6 meters out. Krausbar. Ontario frantic, trying to score the first points of this game. Now, out wide, this surely will do it. She gets over line. Can she put it down? Yes, and we have our first score of the game. That was Shelby Holland scoring for Ontario.
Ontario try scored by number 13, Shelby Holland.
So a nice effort, and you know, a lot of passing in that sequence, and everyone managed to hold on to it very nicely. But I think the adjustment they're making is catch and grip and holding their hands in such a way that the ball will go against their chest, as opposed to holding their hands away from the body and more potential for the drop ball. Simple adjustment, but if only one person in your back line doesn't do it, you're going to have the spilled ball.
And the conversion attempt is good. What a well-struck ball.
Conversion is good and is scored by number 24, Charity Williams.
Sorry, we gave Ontario a pretty big early lead. That was the first try of the game there. And we're up now 7-0. Ontario is up over BC.
British Columbia 0, Ontario 7.
As you can hear the fans cheering on their home side. Down 7-0 here. About 7 minutes gone in the first half as we have our restart. Kicked into Ontario territory, popped out wide, and there we have another knock on, playing such a big role here today as the rain looks to be slowing up a little bit to how it was when we first kicked off, but I'm sure the players think differently out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, with your little bit of local weather knowledge, how cold do you think it is right now? I haven't looked at the temperature, but it's about probably 14 degrees maybe?
Yeah, around the 10 to 12 range, if I were to guess. If the wind picks up, that's when it can get a bit nasty, but these players will be warm either way. It's just difficult with hands as we have Krausbar just gaining lots of ground. Mandy Beneff. Ontario on the attack, popping it out wide. Securing the ball in the contact is going to be huge as we see that ball lost forward once again. This could be a long game and a lot of scrums for these forwards if they don't secure the ball in the contact. BC.
My iPhone app tells me it's 15 degrees, but also sunny with rain, so I'm not sure what it's trying to say there.
Now, BC running it up. Now Shelby Pyle, now running hard is Tiffany Pickett. Spun out by Boundy. Good job to hold it in contact. Now Boundy popping it to April Martin.
Great job by the Ontario players with their tackling. They're just making
Boundy.
those first up tackles.
To Crowley. Spinning it out. Well taken ball and a big hit by the Ontario player as BC is being forced back just inside their half.
Tell you, Kelsey Owen for Ontario put a late hit on her opposite number, and I'm surprised she didn't get picked up for it because it was like a couple of heartbeats after the ball had gone away. A good amount of time.
Big run by Pickett. Getting over the halfway line. As we have another stoppage.
So the whole schedule getting compressed today, Brian, as you know, when the bowl final between Nova Scotia and Saskatchewan went into extra time, and it was a penalty a couple minutes into the extra time, but it was just enough to nudge the schedule over the top of the hour, and so we've been chasing the schedule ever since. And what happens too is teams start celebrating, the other teams want to start playing, and you can't exactly stop the parade down Main Street to get the next game going, but we're trying to catch up on that schedule.
Ontario with possession now, as that ball looks to have went backwards. Play moved on.
Now, I think that second one, though, was a knock on. Oh, they're calling for a penalty here now. Not releasing the ball once she was tackled.
Penalty was against Mandy Beneff.
Feeling a lot better about the hoodie I bought yesterday. I thought it was a one-time use, but
it is different conditions that we've seen over the last few weeks here in BC. Lots of sunshine throughout the week, but making things a bit interesting on this final day of the National Championship Festival. Cup final U18 women. BC trailing Ontario 7-0, and a great push coming here from the forwards. Bounty to Crowley. Crowley popping it on the switch. Good run by Pyle, pardon me. Boundy running it in, taken hard into contact by Eudoris.
Now, one person that might be watching this game in Oakville, Ontario, and that's Coach Crowley watching his daughter playing in this game. Coach Kieran Crowley of the national men's team, and his daughter having a good week here with BC.
Now Boundy trying to pick up the ball, base of the ruck, popping it out to Eudoris. She's looking for support, finally gets taken down just at the 20. BC on the front foot here, looking for their first score of the game. Boundy to Pickett. That could be offside. The referee pick and go by the BC forwards. Now BC got to be nearing the 10-12 phases here in this play. It looks like Crowley going for a run herself. Breaking a few tackles, finally gets brought down about 10 meters out. Now Allie White, she's running hard, getting the excitement of the crowd built up. But we have, looks like it was knocked on, could have been by White. So BC with lots of pressure, just couldn't quite capitalize after about 10-12 phases of an Ontario ball.
Well, this is a real opportunity here now on a wet day when you can put pressure on Ontario the scrum at its own 5. You just need your flankers to be ready to break away at a moment's notice. And if that transfer's not clean to the fly half for the clearance kick, chances are that ball's not even going to touch. I'm surprised the winger's not pinching up more on the right-hand side here to try and get that ball, but they've gone the other way.
Ontario fly half electing to kick it out. Bobbled by the fullback. Referee says it went backwards, play on. Big tackling by Jordy DiNardo of Ontario.
Rounded her mom Barb last night. She's a proud mom.
Taken hard up into contact by Sari. Crowley to Pyle. run by the inside center. Ontario with possession now. They've got numbers out left. See if they can use it. That ball is lost, went backwards. Getting tackled there is Caitlin Richard. And that ball looks to be held up. Trying to get it down to the deck.
Danger of losing her jersey there. She better.
And we have a penalty awarded to Ontario.
So let's see how the kicking goes from hand with this wet weather. Just about 15 minutes gone in this first half. One score in it, Ontario with the lead so far, 7-0. Now the line out, probably contentious place right now, as even getting the throw right is tough with that wet ball.
That ball is just knocked back to the scrum half, but it was not straight, says the referee, and we will have a scrum down, BC ball.
Still to come, we've got the cup final between the under-18 men of BC 1 and Ontario 1, approximately 12:15 Pacific, and the day wraps up with the final cup round robin match between Alberta and BC 2 in the U16 men's division.
So BC playing dangerously near this touch line and getting wrapped up out of bounds was Boundy. We're about nearing the 16-minute mark of this first half. Ontario still holding on to that 7-0 lead from that early try. Ontario now spinning it out. They've got numbers if they can link up. Good offload by the center. Now we've got a bit of speed here. Looks like she will score, diving over the line, but the ball was knocked on. Wow, what a turn of events as they look to have scored their second try, but knocked on there by Maddie Seatle. So that's tough with the wet conditions here, making it difficult to do almost everything on the field, including scoring tries. Ball bobbled by BC. Lots of knock-ons here today, so we will have a scrum down. Ontario ball 5 meters out, so excellent scoring position here for Ontario. Ontario looking for their second try of the game from the back of the scrum now. DiNardo, and that ball is bobbled backwards. Play moves on. And a penalty awarded to Ontario as some of the players are screaming, stop, wait. Let's go for the points, because in conditions like this, points are crucial, and anytime you can take 3 to further your lead is important. No.
It's about to add a try here. It's going to be a penalty, all right? Well struck. Flags up. 10-0 Ontario.
So Ontario furthering their lead. BC getting so close to that goal line. Haven't got on the board yet. We're about 19 minutes gone in this first half. Playing 2 30-minute halves here in the U18 Women's Cup Final. Restart underway now. Ontario, well taken.
By number 24, Charity Williams. Score is British Columbia 0, Ontario 10.
Spinning it out, and then once again knocked on.
I have to say, I feel like this storm may be blowing over a little bit. The clouds getting a little bit lighter overhead, and certainly the rain slackening off, but that won't help conditions for a little while here. Even once the rain has stopped, that ball will stay quite wet. The scrum now. Going straight back. Crowley. So the person that kicked the goal is actually Charlotte Dunn, number 4. So I don't know if she switched jerseys or...
Oh,
Charlotte Dunn.
so that's 20.
Some mysterious codes here down the side of the roster here from Ontario. So Charity Williams not actually on the field for this game, but she is listed, or she's not on the field right now. She is listed in the game, but so that is Charlotte Dunn that kicked those points earlier. 10-0 Ontario leads.
Good run here by the BC player as they're getting dangerously close to the goal line. Elidoros from BC taking it in. Now to the prop, April Martin. Less than 5 meters out. Boundy to White. White with a good head of steam, but big tackle by the Ontario players. Not far now, Boundy. Given to Elidoros. Spinning it out, they have numbers if they can use it. Not far now. And the referee is going to speak with a touch judge. And yes, we have a try awarded, and that's Shelby Pyle getting BC on the board. Did not take that long of a consultation as the try is awarded.
BC try scored by number 12, Shelby Pill.
Shelby Pill scoring the first try for BC, narrowing the gap to 10-5 now for Ontario with the conversion attempt coming.
Just 8 minutes left in this first half. Andrew Smith trying to goad me into something that would be highly improper, and I will not be party to it.
Conversion attempt, chip shot, and it looks like it went a bit right. So the score line now 10-5 Ontario with the lead over BC in the final of the U18 Women's Cup division here at the National Championship Festival. 23 minutes gone in the first half. Restart now coming from Ontario. Boundy picking it up, giving it to her forward. I believe that was Pickett's. Boundy from popping it off the deck. Spinning out to the fly half now. Pop back on the inside. Good tackle by Shelby Holland of Ontario. Taken up into contact now is Crowley, but the ball is stolen by Ontario, and now they have a good field position just outside the 22.
An injured BC player down there.
Almost had a line break there by one of the Ontario players, and the ball pops free, so an advantage being played to BC as they have numbers right if they can use it. Boundy. Spinning it out, good sidestep by Pill. And we have a offside penalty awarded to BC.
Karen Lozada doing a lot of games this week. All the referees doing a lot of games. You think these athletes are tired? Consider these guys doing 4 and 5 games. Well, oh, not a day. Most referees do maybe 2 in a day, but just being here all day long and being assistant referees and then fourth officials and everything like that. And so they're really
it's also difficult as a referee because you, especially the number 1 out on the field, you got to get up and down the field. Wherever the ball is, you have to be there. And if you're not, something happens. You're going to get criticized for not keeping up with the play. So you're up and down the field. You're always following the ball. And
yeah, you think like a hockey referee can kind of coast and
pick a spot.
No
coasting and refereeing for rugby as BC win that line out clean. Boundy to Crowley. She gets wrapped up quickly. Believe we have a
might be again
as a referee
no card, just
stops time.
Quick chat there. Less than 5 minutes to go till halftime.
So we'll have a line out now.
Oh, nicely taken on the sideline there on a wet day by the fan in the Canada jacket.
Ball being thrown in by Eladoris. Taken well by BC. Boundy to Crowley. Crowley dodges one tackle before getting wrapped up.
That ball
just shy of the 40. Boundy popping it to Pickets. Good tackling here by Ontario. Boundy. As that ball is knocked on, so advantage to Ontario. You got to think at some point they'll be going to the boot just to put some pressure on the back 3 of Ontario.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is the scrum half for BC.
Boundy.
She's delaying her pass just a little bit, maybe unsure of how much contact she's got with the ball on a wet day. It's just giving enough time for the flankers and that from Ontario to come through and put that little bit of extra pressure, so when the pass is received, they're immediately being met at the line. So she's got to have faith in her pass and get it out in one fluid motion.
Full scores, stats, and all other information from this year's 2013 National Championship Festival can be found at nationalfestivalrugby.com.
There's tons of information in there. I mean, we have been putting every score, every kick, every point, and every result in there all week long.
And we have an opportunity now as that ball is lost backwards, but picked up by Ontario again. They had to backpedal, but they still holding on to possession. DiNardo finally booted over the top, and if that stays in, that's a great kick, putting BC under pressure.
Well fielded by the BC winger there, right close to the touchline.
Leah Theobald.
Hint of a knock on there, but the play on.
Boundy throwing to Crowley. Lost in contact, goes backwards. Referee saying play on.
Next stoppage will likely be halftime.
Ontario with the ball now, and they have numbers. The ball is lost again. Advantage to BC off another knock-on. They have a few players right if they can use it. And now going for a run is Pickett's.
Boy, she
He
is
places the ball
a
back.
threat every time she touches the
Yeah.
ball.
Dancing close to the sideline before getting taken out. That was Jade Elidoros. So BC showing some, it's a little bit of flair here.
So we'll have one more throw in here, says Lozada.
Ball stolen by BC off the lineout. Bounty taking it up into contact. She needs help. She's isolated.
That was a great defensive jump by BC.
Ball lost again, but referee says backwards. Now ball being kicked forward by the Ontario player. So the ball was brought over, so it looks like we'll have a
22-meter dropout.
22 dropout. Not much time left on the clock here in this first half. Ontario leading BC 10-5.
It was Krausbar, I think, that kicked that across the line for Ontario, and the quick touchdown for the 22-meter dropout by BC.
Good restart coming from BC as that ball went through the 5-hole of that far winger. So BC looking to hold on. Ontario looking for one more score in this half as that ball is lost.
Boy, the conditions really tough here. As I said, the rain is cut out, but the grass is wet, ball is wet, players are wet, so it's making for a slippery ball.
Adrian Sari. Crowley spinning it out. That ball is bobbled by the outside center. Won by Ontario.
Here's some more thunder off in the distance, troubling. We don't want to lose any more time to weather today.
Caitlin Richard, and she breaks free and scores just nearing the end of this first half. Great play there by Caitlin Richard as she broke through 2 tackles to score. So that could be big here. So that changes the dynamic heading into the second half. Instead of it being 10-5, it'll now be 15-5 with the extra 2 points on the line here with the kick coming from Charlotte Dunn. Kick is up, and it is good. So Ontario will take a 17-5 lead into halftime here in the U18 Women's Cup Final. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second half.
So Rugby Canada has a very comprehensive high performance plan. It involves us looking after our athletes so that they can be the best that they can be. We look after them in the way of technical and tactical support through world-class coaching, as well as strength and conditioning, sports psychology, nutrition, medical support and off-field support to help them in their careers after rugby.
Yeah, the City of Langford has partnered with Rugby Canada to provide facilities here for Canada's rugby team at City Centre Park in Langford. We're excited about having them here in Langford.
Having the team centralized at the Centre of Excellence is of numerous benefit for the program. We're able to tap into the Canadian Sports Centre Pacific here in Langford, and having the ability to watch the players train day in, day out, watching them work on their weaknesses as well as improve their strengths, gives us the ability to plan long term, and also from tournament to tournament really targeting on key areas where not just the athletes need to improve, but the team needs to improve.
I chose to centralize at the Centre of Excellence because I want to be the best in the world, and we have the facilities and coaching staff to do that.
The Canadian Sport Institute has given us the opportunity to train at a world-class facility with the best coaching and sport science in the country. It's an exciting time for Rugby Sevens in Canada. With the Olympics coming up in 2016, Canada has a good shot at winning a gold medal.
So just recently we were traveling to Houston and Vegas, and coming up get to go to 2 cities in China, and then we have London and Amsterdam.
And back for more action here. Ontario just underway with BC receiving the ball.
As you see, the clip that was just on the screen there, those are what we filmed recently at the Canadian Rugby Centre of Excellence with our men's and women's sevens team, or pardon me, their men's and women's athletes in our sevens and 15s teams. Encouraging all of our athletes across Canada to come check out the Centre of Excellence and really get involved with rugby from a high performance level as we get back dialed in here with this game, Ontario and BC in the U18 Women's Cup Final. Ontario holding on to that 17-5 lead. Some great numbers of people watching here today from, I'm assuming, all across the country. Lots of people in Ontario as the ball is nearing the 50.
So tall order here for BC in the second half, 12 points adrift, but I think they can do it. They've got the big runners in the forwards, and I think that's what they got to keep their efforts up.
So the wet conditions making things difficult here today. We had about a good half an hour of downpour, making the field nice and wet, slippery conditions, but it looks like the rain stopped for now. So hopefully that holds up.
Still another 2 games to go here for this buffet of rugby of the week of the National Championship Festival is over.
BC now. That ball went right out the tunnel in the scrum, so we'll reset and we'll go again. Good scrum half battle here between Boundy and DiNardo. Both very solid players here for BC and Ontario. Boundy to Crowley. Crowley with a switch.
Whoa!
Back inside, and a big tackle by one of the Ontario players. Good run there by Pickett. Pick and go. Spinning off one tackle, that's Elidoris. BC gaining some yards here. That's Ali White taking it in. Taking it up. Breaking one tackle before getting put to the ground. That was Crowley. Ball lost backwards. Opportunity for Ontario. Should have booted it forward, but that was lost. I believe that was Charity Williams. commentating earlier games throughout the week. Charity Williams' name was definitely said a few times with some great runs on the wing. I think she scored a few tries, 2 or 3 in that one game that we did.
So we have player switches here coming on too. We see the hooker for BC coming off. Get that little handy list. And that was Hannah Lauritsen coming off. Yeah, Williams, a real track star, running north to south and always a threat.
Boundy. To Pill. That was a great placement of her kick. Just down that far touchline, taken well by the fullback.
So while you're playing for your province out here, also lots to play for in terms of selectors, as lots of Rugby Canada staff watching how these players do at the top level, handling the pressure. And so you want to do well at the big show.
As we have a penalty awarded to Ontario. I think one more score would be put this one out of reach, potentially.
Guess there's no national festival around when you were still playing
I
teenage
don't
rugby?
remember so.
Well, you're a young guy, so that was like 2005 that started, so that could have been your big break if you had made it to the festival.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just
What
locked
could have
in the
been.
James Bay hood, they wouldn't let you
What
out.
could have been. I do remember playing at BC Summer Games in Abbotsford when I was in grade 9 or so, and that was fun. Similar competition to this, lots of teams, lots of athletes.
All those types of competitions great leading up to the provincial level and ultimately national competition, as we have an Ontario player down on the far wing there, and quite a bit of discomfort.
As the ball is knocked on, or pardon me, went backwards by the BC player, so they look to get out of harm's way. And going for the kick is Pill, and that one looks like it will be knocked off the BC player, or pardon me, the Ontario player, and we'll have a line out for BC. One of the things I remember about playing in tournaments like this in all the various sports is really the camaraderie and hanging out for 5, 6, 7 days with these guys. And a lot of these players, they don't go to the same high school, they don't play for the same club, so this is their first opportunity to play with
Out of their comfort zone, really.
Out of their comfort zone, and you're playing with players that you usually play against, and it's a good opportunity to meet these young players and really form some friendships. I still see players that I had the pleasure of playing with way back in the day, seeing them around the rugby communities, and it's really all about a learning experience for these players, getting lots of game time here throughout the National Championship Festival. Also, we touched a little bit about Rugby Canada's high performance coaches and staff in attendance here, conducting seminars and really training these athletes and what it takes to be a high performance player for Canada, learning about nutrition and hydration, and after lots of activity, making sure you take care of your body and prepare for the next day's games. We have one of the players receiving some attention. That's why there's a stoppage on the play at the moment.
One field over, British Columbia in the under-16 men's division has this BC 1 versus Ontario 1 has won that match 50-0. And that doesn't mean they're necessarily champions, because the cup round for the under-16 competition is a round robin, but I'm not sure of the math. We'll have to check that. Maybe that was a big enough win that either BC2 or Alberta can't catch them, but one more result to go there in the cup round starting at 1:30 right here on field 1.
We will have all those scores and stats information ready for you up shortly at nationalfestivalrugby.com. Spun out now by BC, and they look to be going to the boot here, as we will have a line out. Ontario ball.
BC's
Ball
gotten
won
that.
by BC. Boundy. Popping it to one of the forwards, taken up. Out to Crowley. Popping it back to Pill. Pill gets wrapped up. Oh, good show and go by one of the BC forwards.
Pressure
Ball
down now.
bouncing in the back line for BC. Sorry to cut you off there,
No.
Doug.
Got nothing to add. There you go.
Kick by BC, getting a bit of field position, getting out of harm's way. They were deep inside their own 22.
So I think conditions improving out on the field. We're seeing fewer drop balls now, and the lineouts are a little more precise as we see the overthrow. I had to say that, didn't I? And BC coming away with that.
Boundy. Popping it, and that was a bit of a dangerous tackle. Penalty awarded to BC, and Boundy's just going to go herself, showing some pace, but she gets rocked by number 12 for Ontario. That was Kelsey Owen.
Oh, and Boundy's feeling it. She is on the ground. Oh.
Looks to have been winded.
Well, she got it right in the solar plexus, and down she went, and I think she's just going to need to get some air into the system before she'll feel right.
That was a good, clean tackle by Owen. That's just one of the worst feelings on the planet is when you get hit right there, right in your solar
diaphragm,
plex. Yeah, and you're right in your diaphragm, and you just, all the air in the world just gone.
Worst airbag ever, just deflates.
We've all been there, so hopefully Boundy gets up and is okay, because she was having a fantastic game from the scrum half position. Such a dynamic player.
Oh, it was a great run, and she just didn't see what was coming around the corner. And you know, sometimes you can even prepare yourself for it. And I've seen articles about how athletes going into contact will suck in their breath and puff their cheeks out in anticipation. It firms up your diaphragm. But if you're drawing a breath in as opposed to holding your breath, that's when the damage happens on a tackle like that. Didn't think I was so scientific, did you? I read things. Doug Cross and Brian Kelly bringing you Finals Day coverage here from Vancouver, British Columbia. It's been a great week out here with the Rugby Canada staff, back out on the road with them. And be nice to get back home, but always nice to visit the West Coast. Up, but we'll have her Boundy getting up now and getting a round of applause, and she'll have a quick drink, and it looks like she'll be staying in this game. But getting a little assessment and the pat on the shoulder, you're okay, and brave of her to stay in after such a big tackle on her.
Score remains 17-5. Ontario leading BC. We're about the 10-minute mark of this second half. Had some stoppages. So we have an Ontario ball. All backs lined up left. Good push by BC in the scrum. DiNardo to the fly half. To Charity Williams. She can't hold on to the ball. We have another knock on. Ball being awarded to BC.
So it'd be interesting to see how the medal haul plays out here as in the Cup finals. Ontario holding the lead. Ontario 3 winning the plate final at 9:45 over BC 2.
Good run by Krausbar. That ball looks to have been knocked on. Nope, pardon me, play moves on. Ontario spinning it out. Good run by the winger. She's gaining some ground. That's Caitlin Richard, the last try scorer. Taking it up again is Richard. Good counter rucking here from BC, and they've won that ball. They've got numbers, but lost again. I think that was the number 13.
Charity
Mackenzie
Williams
Fowler
has got that back now, but she's paying the heavy price physically.
A lot of this game being played in between the 22s with a couple of scoring plays coming from either side. BC with possession now, getting pushed deep inside there, just nearing the 22 actually. Penalty awarded to Ontario. Wonder if they'll take the points here. They're about 25 meters out. And they will, so they look to extend their lead to 20-5 here, nearing the halfway mark of this second half.
Really, that means BC's got a tall hill to climb there. That'd be 3 unconverted tries just to tie it, or a couple of converted tries and, well, 3 tries and some conversions to get into the lead. But a lot to deal with nonetheless.
So taking this shot at goal will be Caitlin Richard. Well struck, has the height, but that one just misses to the right-hand side. That ball sailed over, but didn't have the line. So BC. So I think that player wasn't quite aware what a 22-meter dropout is. I remember I did that once in a U15 game, and the referee had to explain it to me. So the ball has to be a drop kick, has to go placed on the ground and obviously kicked, but it has to go over the line. Doesn't matter if it goes 6 inches over the line or 25 feet, but it has to touch the ground first before kicking it.
So programming note, our next game up, 12:15 p.m. Pacific time. We're at 12:03 right now local time, and still about 15 minutes to go. So we're going to be overtime on this game along with medal presentations. So probably a kickoff of around 12:20 to 12:25. We'll be killing the feed immediately after this game and resetting for the next game, just because there's not the normal little breaks we had during the week to get the technical things that we need to do, get them done. But
Ontario
see
now
everything
with some room to move. Charity Williams taking it up into contact, but the ball is lost forward. So another missed opportunity here for Ontario. BC putting the ball into the scrum about 10-15 meters out. The Ontario scrum half is just trying to reach over, and the ball is just booted directly into touch. Didn't exactly go for much ground. Good numbers here. Over 120 people viewing this feed right now. Fantastic. Thanks everyone for listening in. Enjoying this coverage of the National Championship Festival. My name is Brian Kelly, along with Doug Cross, bringing you the action here from Vancouver, BC, as the rain is held up after about half an hour of downpour at the start of this game. Ontario on the front foot now, looking for their next try. Good burst of speed here by the number 10. And the ball looks to have, the try has not been awarded. That was a good run by Catherine Belanger. So we will have a scrum down, Ontario ball. So Ontario with a great position here. Go for their next try. Ontario with the chance to score in the corner. And the referee will talk to the other official. And we have another score. That's Charity Williams diving over in the right-hand corner. Good set of hands there by Ontario. And their lead is further to 22-5 now. So Ontario starting to run away with this one. Now leading 22-5 with the conversion attempt coming. Conversion attempt coming from Aaron Guedes. So BC are going to look to get some more points here and try and get back in this game with about 10 or 12 minutes left on the board in the cup final here as that ball pops free.
Never say never.
British Columbia 5, Ontario 22.
Boundy popping it to one of the forwards. BC trying to get some momentum here. That ball looks to have been knocked on at the 22, so we'll have a scrum down, Ontario ball.
So the first aid station may have to prepare for some hypothermia victims here. Everyone wearing shorts and flip-flops, expecting a nice day and not getting it.
So the sun looking like it may poke out in this afternoon, which would be quite nice for everybody here in attendance at UBC. As Ontario going to the boot. BC fullback trying to get out on the outside, and she does. She's got a burst of speed. That's the number 11, Sheridan Davis. Good run by breaking tackles.
Ball staying BC side, right close to that touchline though.
Good counter rucking by Ontario. We have unplayable, and it'll be BC ball.
It's unfortunate Lozada was on the other side of that ruck, and had she seen that, she might have given it another couple of seconds because it was there, but no side was really eager to get that out, honestly.
That was a good play by Davis. It's always beneficial for a fullback or a winger anytime in the back three where you can really take that ball at pace, and you've got the defenders coming up at you, and they didn't slow down, so it just took one move sideways, and she was gone.
Some looks like a few replacements coming on for Ontario.
Look at the depth here of BC. This is
that is a steep back line.
That is
need an elevator to get up that back line.
So Boundy with a long spin pass.
Oof.
And Ontario ball with the playing advantage.
Going the other way, still keeping that ball alive. Advantage not realized yet. Now the advantage over.
So we have a penalty awarded to Ontario.
the Smith twins, Andrew and John Smith. Hi. So congratulations to the national women's team who won the Nations Cup last night in Colorado. What a great victory for them, beating England twice now in that competition. And well, England's got to be wondering what's going on across the pond, where Canada's pipped them in the U20 division and now twice at the senior women's division.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Magali Harvey, I believe she scored some fair amount of points and added some. She had 2 conversions, 2 penalties, and Bianca Farella scored 2 tries. Also, Jess Dauvain with another try. Just a fantastic all-around performance by Canada's women's 15s team. You know, they're doing really well.
Important to note some of the key starters, about 7 key starters taking a rest at this time of year because of their heavy sevens commitments and everything else. And so, you know, that was some of the depth of that Canadian women's squad showing through.
Yeah, you're right. There was 14 new caps in the Nations Cup tour for the Canada, and you got to look at what a fantastic year the women's program is having. Second at the Rugby World Cup Sevens in Moscow recently. The under-20 team going undefeated 4-0 as Nations Cup champions, as well as the women finishing 3-1. 2 of those victories coming against England and winning the Nations Cup title last night, plus also the University Games, their sevens. The women finishing bronze in that one, plus also 2 sevens victories earlier, one in Las Vegas and one in Hong Kong. So this is a good time to be involved in women's rugby here in Canada. And a lot of those women centralized in Langford, British Columbia, training at the facilities out there as Ontario, popping the ball over the top, looking to score another try here. Already up 22-7. Pardon me, 22-5 over BC.
Players on both sides of the ball got to be a little more careful with the no-look passes and things like that because conditions still not good enough to be thrown around like it's a sevens tournament. And
those moves are tricky to do in 15s on a regular sunny day, let alone when it's been raining. Looks to have dried up a little bit since kickoff of this game, but ground still wet, as you've seen many knock-ons in this game.
We have the hooker Makula Albert coming out for Ontario.
Michaela Albert.
Michaela. It looks like Makula from about 17 feet away, but as you get closer, you're right. And didn't pick up who's going in the front row for her, but we'll tell you in a moment.
BC trying for a switch, but a little miscommunication. Brought back up now by Sophia Diajani. BC just looking to get anything going here. That ball booted back by one of the forwards. Kicked up now by Shelby Pill. Good run down the left wing by one of the Ontario players. BC with possession now just outside their 22. Haven't had much time in the second half inside Ontario's end. Penalty awarded to BC. Can't quite see what the infringement was. Good kick by the BC player, gaining some ground. Coming up next will be Cup Final, U18 men. BC won against Ontario. Always good when those two sides go head-to-head, as we're seeing here in this great game in the U18 Women's Cup Final. Still lots of rugby here as we have 2 more games today. Another penalty awarded to BC. So we're not much time left on the clock now in the couple-minute range as BC just going with a quick tap. Running it up with the forwards. Boundy. Popping it to one of the girls in support. Taking that one in was Allie White. Going on a fake switch. Little spin play there by Shelby Pill. Another penalty awarded to BC as the referee stops the clock, speaking with the captain. As the home fans showing some support for their side as that ball just gets into touch. BC. That ball is won by Ontario. The advantage off of a knock-on being given to BC, so we'll have a scrum down. Nearing the end of this game. Good tackling by Ontario, and they look to have stolen that ball. Ontario looking to score one more try. Already holding on to that 22-5 lead here today. Now, trying to take it up, that's Geddes. Penalty awarded to Ontario. So I wonder if they'll attempt to go for points here. And yes, they will. So Ontario looking to further their lead with not long left on the clock. So it looks to be Geddes going for the shot at goal. That's Aaron wearing the number 20 jersey. High kick coming in, and it is good. So Ontario with another 3 points added, and there you have it. That is the final score, 25-5. Ontario are your U18 national champions here.
Columbia 5, Ontario 25.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a moment. We're just going to reset the feed so that we can start the broadcast immediately for the next game, so that we're archiving these on our YouTube page. So we're just going to take a quick reset here, and we'll be live streaming the medal presentation in just a moment. Stay tuned.